shocking ones. $3, old boy. That should pay for running that item in your paper. Ronald Cedric Browning, 33, esteemed citizen of Tombstone since 1880, died Tuesday of gunshot wounds as he was attempting to protect an ore shipment from his mine located. April Fool's Day was last month, Ron.
Printed. I'm paying you.
Well, I can't print anything that I know isn't true, Ron. Now, why don't you take your $3 and go over to the hotel and get yourself a room and sleep it off?
Print it. You've got to print it.
I can't. Ron, I'll print your obituary, and it won't cost you a cent. When at least one fact is true. That you're actually dead. Then I'll make it true. Run! An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened. In the town too tough to die. Tombstone territory.
You all right?
Yeah, I think so. One thing's for certain. The ordinary taxpayer sure gets prompt service from our sheriff.
Is that Ron Browning?
Yeah, he's all in one piece, just passed out. Slug buried itself over there.
Why do you want to draw down on you?
He didn't.
Was it his gun?
He came in here and wanted me to run his obituary. When I refused, he threatened to kill himself.
That's kind of funny. He tell you why?
No. First, I thought he was drunk and trying to play a joke. What are those?
Well, I saw him coming out of the post office. I thought maybe something he got might have set him off.
Something sure did. He wasn't easy to stop. From a lady?
Devotedly gay. No matter how busy you are, 3 years is too long for a girl in love to wait. So I've taken a boat to Boston, and I'm coming to Tombstone to you. Yeah, she arrives on the noon stage tomorrow.
If you ask me, you better lock him up till she gets here.
Maybe he just doesn't want to see her.
More likely, he doesn't want her to see him.
Well, I can't jail him for that.
Look, he's no tramp, Clay. Comes from a good family, educated. When he sobers up, Could be all he needs is that girl.
All right, Cupid. I'll see that the county boards and lodges him. Watch the step. Put him in my chair, Harris.
Yeah, all right.
Easy.
What do you think you're doing, old boy?
We brought you here for your own good, Ron.
But if you want an apology...
I think you should apologize to, Miss Mitchum.
Now, see here.
I read your letter hoping it would explain why you pull a gun. It did.
What do you want me to do? Hurt her more than I have? I can't see her.
Why not, Ron?
Well, 3 years ago, Gay and I fell in love. Her father publishes books. Wanted me to join the firm. I just couldn't see it. I inherited nearly £1,000, and Gay and I decided I'd come over to Canada. Start a ranch. And Gay would come over later. Everything was fine until the winter. The worst in 20 years. Wiped out.
Is that when you moved down here, Tombstone?
I wrote Gay that I'd sold the ranch, bought a mining claim here. A big man now, very successful. Oh, Lord. Gay thinks I'm about the biggest man in Arizona. 10 full feet tall. That's me. That's why
But a girl who would come all this distance just to be with you, Ron, deserves more consideration than this.
Nobody ever won a fight by running away from it, boy.
It's not for me. Make you think I'm dead. I'm just as good as dead now, anyway.
Come on, you'll feel better about it tomorrow. Up you get. All right.
You can't make me see Gay.
We'll talk about that when you're sober.
I'm much obliged, Clay, and I think you'll be.
Ike Cobb, Sheriff. Wanted in Flagstaff,
Where'd you find him?
in front of the bank.
The bank, huh? Well, we'll let him use one of our vaults until Flagstaff sends for him.
Better make it quick. I ain't staying long.
We'll try to make you comfortable.
I'll be comfortable when I shoot that star off your chest and off of every lawman.
Drop it.
He's tough, huh?
I can be. Now, pick it up. Now, let's make you comfortable.
Suit, hat. Here, Clay. You see that he gets shaved and dressed. My confounded press broke down again. Have to get the blacksmith to forge a new part or I won't be able to get my paper out.
Is that an excuse for not taking Brownie to meet the girl?
I'll be back in plenty of time.
Oh, Harris. Moody's in this morning. I don't trust him to handle a razor by himself. Will you ask the barber to step up here and shave him?
Sure.
New clothes, Ron. Put them on. Give yourself a break.
All right. Clothes won't make a difference. You know that.
Let him out, Sheriff. Let us both out. Save you a lot of trouble later.
Hello, Singh. Customer's all ready for you.
Sing Lee ready for the customer. Oh, Mr. Brownie.
There's some water in that pitcher over by the bunk.
Yes.
Sheriff? The noon stage from Santa Fe you waiting for?
Yeah?
I just saw it. Looks like it's going to be about 10 minutes early.
All right, Quint, you stay here and see that Sing Lee has no trouble. And after Browning's been shaved, bring him over to the hotel. I'll pick up the girl.
Right.
Oh, and when you deliver him, make sure he looks 10 feet tall. Mitchum?
Yes, I'm Miss... Oh, I say, is something wrong with Ron?
Oh, badge? No, Ron's all right. I'm a friend of his, Clay Hollister. He asked me to see that you got to your hotel all right.
Oh?
Ron's tied up. Business. Is that all your luggage? Hotel's just down the street.
Mr. Quint, maybe you better let me take Mr. Browning outside and put him in a chair.
Sure, anything to hurry it up.
Browning, lock the barber up. We'll both get out of here together. Lock him up, I said. Keys. Hurry it up. Lock him up. Come over here and unlock this one. I mean, right now. Here. 2 guns are better than one. Come on. You get caught now, they'll throw the book at you for jailbreaking. Come on!
You, get back Cunningham. Hurry it up!
Suckered me. Got out. He and Browning escaped. I'm going after him.
Ron escaped?
Ron and one of the most dangerous killers in the territory.
The afternoon of May 13, 1882. Tombstone had had jailbreaks before, but this one really hit home.
So, now you know all of it. Ron just didn't want you to know how far he'd slipped.
I want to go with you, Sheriff.
You stay in here, Miss Mitchum, and no arguments.
But if Ron were forced to go,
Clay, I saw them heading out of town toward the Dragoons. The way they were riding, I think they were heading for Browning's diggings up in the hills.
Here's your rifle, Deputy.
We leave the horses here.
Where's the mine?
Up there.
Wait a minute. You stay here till I get up on those rocks. And when you see the sheriff coming, you start down slow, holding your arms up like he was surrendering.
And you?
What do you think? Once they step out and figure they got you, they'll be like clay pipes in a shooting gallery.
Now see here, I'll be no party to murder.
You'll do what I tell you. Get up. You're gonna get up and stay here for good. Now you stay right here till the sheriff comes.
What do you make of that?
Maybe there's only one of them up there now.
You'd be dead now, except I need you for bait. Now you stay put. All right, get out there. You trying to cross me? You get it first.
myself up. Come and get me.
Stay where you are.
Sheriff, it's a trap!
You'd have been better off in jail. He made me go.
Take care of him, Harris. I'm going in.
Toss down the rifle and stand up. I know you're about out of shells. Now, do you walk down or do I carry you out? All right, Sheriff. Here's my rifle. Now, come down.
Undertaker will have to come back up and take care of him. Let's get you back to town before you lose any more blood.
May 13. Things seem to have quieted down in Tombstone, except for the editor, who was trying to do 3 days' work in one.
Well, hello there.
Hello, Mr. Cleburne. Well, give it to him, darling.
Since you refused to publish Ronald's obituary,
Even though I coughed trying to make it true.
we thought you might like to publish this social item.
Ronald Cedric Browning will marry gay Elizabeth Mitchum Friday, May 15th at St. Paul's Episcopal Church. Well, congratulations.
Hi. Is that what I think it is?
Yeah, they're being married tomorrow, Clay. You going to give away the bride?
Oh, I'm going to let you do that. I've got something to give away to the groom.
Well, what is it, Sheriff?
Draft for $500 on the Flagstaff National Bank.
Oh, Ron, imagine it's more than 100 pounds.
Well, it's what a man gets for being 10 feet tall. Reward for information leading to the capture of Ike Cobb. And one of the prettiest girls ever to come to the territory.
Thank you, Sheriff.
You're welcome.
Well, Sheriff, we'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Say now, I don't mean to be selfish. Wouldn't you lads like to have a go at kissing the bride? After me, that is.
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be, 'cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
I'll cover you.
You'll do what?
I'll tend to the horses.
Now get out of sight.
The box. Then keep your hands on those reins.
You inside. Get out here. I want everything that folds, ticks, or shines. I said everything, including that book.
I'm a journalist. These are my notes. They can't be of any value to you.
I don't want no stories. Just hand it over.
A writer is a man of great curiosity. Might I ask you a question?
Ask it.
When you spend this for whiskey, does it taste of blood?
Any other questions? All right, climb up. I want to see dust all the way to Tombstone.
Yeah, run it,
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened, in the town too tough to die. Tombstone territory.
Didn't you get a good look at him, Dan?
No, he was wearing a mask. I saw his gun, though. He shot the guard down quicker than you could spit and say howdy.
Yeah. All right, folks. Thanks very much for the information.
You're not going after him alone, are you, Clay? He's a killer.
I'm not alone.
You have to pound that gun into my brain?
It was your idea, mister, so you could write about holdups and outlaws.
All right. Here. As agreed, your fee.
Better than we agreed. You got a killing. That guard should cost you extra.
There it is, Sam.
Crack it open.
Busted flush, Sam. It's almost empty. Oh! Sam, you're leaking pretty bad.
Yeah. Too fast to travel. I'll need some clean wrappings and medicine.
Well, I'll go to Tombstone and get them. They don't know me there.
I'll go with you. I want to see how the law works on a stage holdup.
Go ahead. You'll like Tombstone. Smoky town. Most every night there's a killing.
Sure we can trust him, Sam.
Yeah. 'Cause he knows dead men don't write no books. And just take one horse. Like you just found him half dead and picked him up.
Let's go. Ryder coming.
Sheriff, I saw a flash of his badge.
Get down and lead the horse. I'll do the talking.
Oh. You fellas mind telling me who you are?
My name is Pell, Sheriff. J-Pell from Philadelphia.
You the writer that was pistol whipped after the stage holdup?
That's me. Oh, this is Tim Grannis. He happened along and picked me up out of the dirt. It was horrible, Sheriff, seeing a man shot down like that. I'd like to work closely with you on this case, if you'll allow me, sir. Give our readers back east a real-life picture of Western justice.
You were within arm's length of the killer. When I get back to the office, you come in and check over the wanted posters.
Certainly. Anything I can do to help.
Good enough.
Ride easy, Sheriff.
Here's the money for the stuff for Sam. I'll meet you in Lordsburg Sunday.
I need more money than that, friend.
I paid Sam in full.
This weed has been tumbling since it left Yuma prison. Time it had some fun. Play little cards. I'm waiting, pal.
All right. Here. Sorry, Sheriff. None of these.
Well, thanks anyway.
But these are interesting. What we in the writing line call background material. Now, here's an example. Sam Crane, aged 42, wanted for the shooting of 14 men. That's more than most of your top guns. Do you know him, Sheriff?
Some.
Well, what was he like? I mean, 14 men. Did he have a fast gun? Maybe the fastest? How tough was he, really?
He was a killer. Likely still is. I understand he just broke out of Yuma prison with the help of his younger brother.
A real-life murderer. At large, out in those hills somewhere. I wish I could meet him.
Why?
The deadliness, the ruthlessness. That's the stuff legends are made of.
It's men with pens, not guns, that make legends, Mr. Pell.
That a compliment, Sheriff?
No, just a fact.
I suppose, Buffalo Bill, Calamity Jane aren't real people.
Bill Cody got famous for slaughtering cattle and wearing long hair. Poor old Calamity.
But they are famous.
For things they didn't do. What they're famous for never happened except in Ned Buntline's head. Little man with a sharp pen and an inkwell full of blood. Oh, Harris.
Hello, Clay.
You want more complete information on Sam Crane? This is Harris Clyburn, editor of the Epitaph. Writer from back east, Harris, J. Pell.
How you doing, Mr. Pell?
Privilege, Clyburn. Certainly be obliged if you'd let me browse through your files.
Oh, anytime. Come on over now.
Oh, thank you.
Clay, I just dropped by to see if there was anything new on that stage holdup.
Oh, not a thing.
Anything else?
Nope. Town's got its head on a pillow.
Come outside, Ryder, man. I got a story for you.
Not now, Tim. I'm busy.
Don't pull any of your Eastern airs on me.
Excuse me, gentlemen. Come on, Tim. Let's go. What's the matter with you? Lose your senses?
Listen, Ryder, I need money.
What for?
I don't like the way they play poker in this town. I've been cheated, skinned right down to the white meat, but I got some tricks of my own. All I need is some cash and chips.
What you need's your horse. Let's find him. This Hollister's a tough sheriff.
Him? Why, he don't know what a man and a gun can do together. Me and Sam,
Shut
we...
up, you fool. Now stay out of that office. Let's get out of town.
This boy giving you any trouble, Mr. Pell?
Trouble? Well, not at all, Sheriff. I guess I just didn't realize that out west here, when a man invites you to have a drink with him, you don't refuse.
That ain't half of what you don't realize. Sheriff, why don't you get your nose out of our business?
Now, cool off, Tim. I am indebted to you for helping me today. Here, have yourself some fun. I have an appointment with Mr. Clyburn.
That's mighty generous of you, Ryder, man. Back to your pipe and slippers, watchman. See you later, Clay.
Did you find what you're after?
No, I haven't found much I can use at all. Frankly, I'm surprised at your rather colorless reporting.
I'm running a newspaper, Mr. Pell, not a paint shop.
But Sam Crane's killed 14 men. He can't be the kind of cowardly shadow you've described. He's got to be a dangerous killer.
Oh, I didn't say he wasn't dangerous. Cholera, dynamite, and rattlesnakes are dangerous. Well, you mix them together and put boots on it, you got Sam Crane.
But it must take courage for Crane to kill.
Courage? It doesn't take courage to kill. It takes courage to avoid a killing.
Like your sheriff. Tell me this. Has anyone ever done a story on Clay Hollister's life for the Eastern papers?
Never?
How do his gunfights stack up against Crane's? Just how many men has he killed?
Mr. Pell, that's a piece of arithmetic you don't do around here. Not if you're Hollister's friend.
What was that?
You wanted to see him splashing on the local color? Come on.
What's the matter, Tin Horn? Won't you fight for your money?
I haven't got a gun.
Well, I never saw a gambler yet that didn't carry a gun. Somebody take him to some hardware. What's the matter? You all yellow? I heard that Tombstone was as wild as a half-skinned grizzly.
You better put up the gun, cowboy.
Well, if it ain't the sheriff.
Put up the gun or I'll jail you.
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you can't climb over bullets.
The afternoon of April 12, 1882. The one killing J. Pell had witnessed was not enough for the story he wanted to write. He was determined to do something about it.
Sheriff?
Hello, Mr. Pell.
Sarah?
You want to talk to your friend?
Yes, I do want to talk to him.
Go ahead.
That was a brave thing you did, Sheriff. But he's just a green kid. Would you walk up to a real hard case the same way? Say, a man like Sam Crane?
Well, maybe not just the same way.
You gotta get me out of here somehow. I'm tired of scrubbing up these jail floors.
Take it easy. You're only going to be here for a couple of days.
Couple of days. Look, pal, you gotta get that medicine to Sam.
How? I don't know these hills. I could never find that cabin again.
Yes, you can. Go out the Benson Road about 5 miles. Up the big draw till you get to the foot of the hills. You'll see it.
Where's your horse?
Back at the granary. I got some food and medicine in a saddlebag. Hurry up, Sam. May need it bad by now.
What'll I tell Sam? You got thrown in jail?
No. Tell him my horse fell and I jerked my knee loose. And I'll meet you in Lordsburg on Sunday.
It's a pretty big jail. You may not get it all scrubbed up by Sunday.
How is he? Breathing blood and thunder?
I've seen more thunder come from a baby and a rattle. Sheriff, how'd you like to have enough money to own this town? And the mountains around it.
What's on your mind, Mr. Pell?
Suppose I could find out where Sam Crane is.
You've got a notion where he is?
Right where. He's hiding at the end of the rainbow.
What are you getting at?
Just this. I want to be at the end of that rainbow when you get there, in a front row seat. Sheriff, If I could find out where Crane is, I'd trade that information. If you let me watch the killing.
Who's killing? His or mine?
His. I was going to write a series of articles about Sam Crane. But now I've found a man that's worth a book. You. You let me in on the Crane killing, and I'll have what I need to make you the next national hero.
Me?
I guarantee it. Lecture tours, star of your show, circus, travel abroad, audiences with royalty. You can become a legend, Hollister.
Stop right there, Mr. Pell. Leave me alone to finish my supper.
Maybe you didn't hear me right. Now listen.
I heard you. And you heard me. Get out.
Where's Kirby? How come you found your way back here?
You're okay, Sam? Wound healing?
Yeah, I dug the bullet out with my knife. Hey, where's the boy?
That's what I rode out to tell you, Sam. Kirby told me the way. That tin-horn sheriff jailed him.
The law got Kirby? What for?
Hollister claimed he was cheating at poker. He gun-whipped him, Sam. Beat him half to death and ran him in.
Served him right, brainless kid. Pell, did he talk too much?
I hate to say it, Sam. I'm afraid he did. At least enough for the sheriff to guess he knew something about the stage holdup.
I knew it. I knew someday that kid in his mouth.
The sheriff said he was going to keep him locked up until he told everything. Do you think he'll really talk, Sam?
Like a coyote under the full moon. You know the layout of that Tombstone jail?
Oh, yeah.
And you want to see a real shootout? You want a dead sheriff for supper?
Sam, you got away with this. You kill that sheriff and spring your brother. And I'll make them forget Hardin and Tom Horn. I'll make you as big as Jesse James or Billy the Kid.
That was just big enough to fit in a pine box. Come on, let's mount up.
Time to go to work. After you get all this licked down nice, Quint here will find some more house cleaning for you in the office.
I'd start waving them up.
Harris, you tied the horse behind the jail?
Yeah. And the boy was watching. I could see him through the bars.
Good.
What makes you think he'll make a break for it?
Hunch?
Well, why do you want him to?
Boy rode into town after the stagecoach robbery with Pell. And now Pell just can't stop talking about Sam Crane. They might have some information about where Crane's hiding.
You think Crane held up that stage?
Whoever did it's carrying around some lead from the guard's gun. Check the boy's saddlebags. He just bought a bottle full of medicine for washing out wounds and a pair of long-nosed pliers. Pretty odd buying for a drifter, wouldn't you say?
Well, why didn't you have me stake out his own horse instead of that other?
Because Pell ran off with it. Medicine, pliers, and all. Quint reported it. We couldn't trail him.
Well, let's hope he takes the bait.
Yeah. Quint's all primed. He'll drop like a rock. We better wait inside. He might see us here.
I guess I can start setting type.
You better wait and see how the story ends.
Rider coming. Take cover. It's Kirby. Kirby!
Sam, you're all right. You're riding.
Yeah. How come you are?
Well, I broke out. That sheriff had me swapping floors. I saw a horse tied out back, and I broke.
Swamping floors? You don't look beat up. Kirby, how much did you tell him?
I didn't tell him nothing.
Pell here says that sheriff beat your brains out, and you started blabbing.
He hit me once, but I didn't tell him nothing.
Remember, I'm a writer. I color up the facts some.
Enough to send me straight into that sheriff's guns, trying to shoot my brother out of the Tombstone jail.
Now, you're being melodramatic.
Him and me both, mister, and you're right in the middle, not off to one side taking notes. Sam, him and that sheriff were so close they could have been wearing the same hat.
You came west looking for something to write. You just found it. Your death warrant.
No, Sam. I swear it. I'll make you famous and rich. Don't shoot me.
There's lots of ways to kill snakes. Shooting's one of them.
It's Hollister. Don't shoot. You'll warn him.
Get behind those rocks. We'll crossfire him.
Drop it! Sam! Sam, shoot! The boys quit, Crane. Hold your fire. Come in alive.
I knew you'd change your mind, Hollister. You're on your way. I'll make you a fortune.
Dirty, what a...
You and your blowhard brother. Coyotes. Coyotes kill sheep. Takes a man to walk into two guns and kill. A man like this.
So you finally got your story, huh?
Today, in the parched hills near Tombstone, I watched a killer die. Sam Crane, the Southwest's deadliest outlaw.
Sam Crane, a coward who killed for greed and out of ignorance.
Well, we've got two writers around here.
And then changed the part about coyotes. Coyotes are smart, like this one here. He decided to talk rather than hang.
You mean about his brother's killings?
Mm-hmm. Especially the last one, where Sam killed a stage guard for a fee paid by a writer gathering information on Western outlaws.
That's a lie.
You paid. And you'll finish paying with 10 years of your life for conspiracy to commit murder. In Yuma prison, you'll meet most of the outlaws in the territory. You can write their stories.
Whistle me up a memory. Whistle me back where I wanna be. Whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be. 'Cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory. Whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
Brothers, Rip, Coley, and Ben, the younger element of Tombstone and its future citizens.
Here's your troublemakers, Clay.
Take your choice. The fine's $10 apiece and 3 days in jail.
Well, you're bearing down a little hard, ain't you, Sheriff? We were just trying to have a little fun.
Sure, just flexing our muscles. You know, having a few laughs. It's getting so a person can't even let off a little steam in this town.
The next time you start a saloon brawl, it won't be just a fine and a night in jail. I'll lock you up for so long you can set up housekeeping.
It's about time.
Well, I didn't know you were in jail until this morning.
All right, pay the man. Let's get out of here.
I'm sorry about my brother, Sheriff. How much is their fine?
$10 apiece, Miss Thomas. They won't listen to me, so I'm going to tell you. Maybe you can talk some sense into them.
Well, they'll listen to me, and they'd better.
They've got to grow up and start acting their age.
We can do without the lectures. That goes for you too, Hollister.
Because if they don't, they're going to wind up killing somebody or getting killed themselves. There are your guns. Keep them holstered.
Yes, sir, Mr. Sheriff. At least for now.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened in the town too tough to die. Tombstone territory. The Thomas brothers were important to Tombstone. They were the future of the town. And the way things had been going lately, Sheriff Clay Hollister had good reason to be concerned about them. Morning, Clay.
Oh, hello, Harris.
On my way to breakfast. Care to join me?
No thanks. I'm not hungry. Just had a stomach full of the Thomas brothers. It's the third time this month I've had to haul them in.
You ought to keep a permanent cell for them. Charge rent. A second home, so to speak.
Uh-oh, trouble.
Anybody else got ideas? Cowboy, you just bit off more than you can swallow.
Hold it. Give me the gun.
I'm walking out of here, Sheriff. Don't try stopping me.
Give me the gun. Now, suppose you tell me what happened.
We were just trying to have a little fun when all of a sudden he get mad.
He shot Ben before we knew what was happening.
How about hearing my side of it, Sheriff? That is, if you're interested.
I'm interested. Let's go.
You haven't heard the last of us, mister. You can bet on it.
All good. Your story better be right.
You settled down enough yet to start talking?
I didn't ride into this town looking for trouble, Sheriff. All I wanted was a job. I warned them twice to leave me alone, but no, they had to keep calling me a saddle bum and a drifter. Got a lot of laughs out of everybody. Then, accidentally, on purpose, one of them spilled his drink on me.
So you repaid the compliment by shooting him?
Talking doesn't get through to some people, Sheriff. They have to be shown.
Well, that little demonstration may get you a term in jail.
You ever had trouble with the law before?
You mean locked up? No.
Well, I'm sorry to spoil your record. Let's go.
Hello, Harris. Oh, hello, Clay. Glad you stopped by. I'm writing an editorial here. I want you to hear it. The citizens of Tombstone have a responsibility to the many young men who come here seeking work. Let us demonstrate our friendship by offering them a fair chance at jobs and the opportunity to become decent citizens. Tolerance will make our community a better place to live. Well, then it goes on, but that's the idea. What do you think?
Oh, I think the same as you. Just come from a long talk with Judge Parker. We talked about Paul Hayden.
I guess he's the one who started this. The kid needs a break, no doubt about it.
Judge has given him one. He's put him on probation.
Oh, Clay, I think that's an excellent idea.
Of course, there are going to be some problems, but between the two of us, I think we can work them out.
What kind of problems?
Well, as sheriff of Tombstone, I couldn't very well have him paroled in my custody, so I had him paroled in yours.
You did what?
Well, now, just don't go bringing your blood to a boil.
Well, you might have consulted me first.
It never occurred to me that you'd object.
Oh, it never occurred to you. Well, I do. I've got too much to do around here to properly take care of the boy.
Now, calm down.
No, sir, it's too much responsibility.
Wait a minute. Let me read you something. The citizens of Tombstone have a responsibility to the many young...
All right. Trapped by my own editorial. Paul, you better start a new paragraph here. Well, hello, Karen. This is a pleasant surprise.
Hello, Mr. Claiborne. I was just passing by and remembered I hadn't renewed my subscription to the paper.
Oh, shucks. I thought perhaps this was a personal call. Oh, excuse me, Paul. Having such an attractive young lady in the office almost made me forget my manners. Miss Karen Thomas, this is my new assistant, Paul Hayden.
Pleased to meet you, Miss Thomas.
Hello. Well, I better pay you and run along. I don't want to be late for the bank.
If you have a moment, I'll write you out a receipt for this.
Oh, that won't be necessary, Mr. Claiborne. Nice to have met you, Mr. Hayden.
Pleasure.
Karen, wait a minute. I just remembered I have some business at the bank myself. Paul, would you take this over and get me some change for it?
How do you want it?
I don't care. Nickels, dimes, quarters. No reason for you to walk to the bank alone.
You don't mind company?
Oh, I'd be delighted, Mr. Hayden.
Hey, Paul. Well, aren't you something? No need to ask what happened to your paycheck. You're wearing it. Sit down.
Fellow's got a right to buy new duds, hasn't he?
He sure has. But you'll have to admit they're a little fancy to be wearing to work.
As a matter of fact, I was going to ask for the morning off. Karen's coming to town, and...
Sure, Paul. You go ahead.
But we're kind of busy. Sure you can get by without me, all right?
It'll be tough, but I'll try.
Well, now, look who's just leaving.
Well, just the man I've been looking for. It's time we settle with this drifter. Nice looking hat. Mind if I look it over for a while? I've been thinking about getting me a new hat.
Fitting that over swelled head of yours is going to be a job. Let's have the hat back.
Sure, Drifter. There you are. Put a few air holes in it for you.
I'm not wearing a gun or I'd give you something to shoot at.
Now, you wanted a gun? There it is.
Leave it, Paul. He's on probation. He can't do any fighting. But I can.
Well, it's all right with me if you want to stick your nose in this.
Is this a private fight or can anybody join in? All right, what's going on?
Never mind, Clay. There's no real harm done.
That's right. The Drifter here is on probation. Don't want him getting into trouble.
You want to prefer charges, Harris? I'll lock him up right now.
No. But they pay for the hat.
How much was it?
$5.
It's a pretty expensive target. It was worth every penny of it. And I got some advice for you, Drifter. Keep away from my sister.
And if I don't?
The next time we shoot at that hat, you'll be wearing it. You should let me lock him up, Harris.
Why? It's never done any good before. A couple of days in jail isn't going to teach them anything.
They bother me again, I'll start their education. And I'll finish it, too.
No, you won't, Paul. You do that and I'll finish it by jailing all of you.
Although Paul Hayden had only been in Tombstone a short time, he had run into trouble with the Thomas brothers twice. There was going to be a third time. He was going to be prepared for it.
Hello, Paul? Been shopping?
Picked up my shirts at the laundry.
Looks like a lot of starch in your shirts. You know, I could swear I just saw you coming out of the gun shop.
Probably some other fellow.
Interesting looking laundry.
The way I look at it, wearing a gun's part of being dressed.
Probation law doesn't agree with you. It says you can't carry a gun or leave town.
Does it say what I'm supposed to do about Rip Thomas and his brothers?
No, but I can tell you. Grin and bear it.
Yeah. They're not pushing you around.
Would you rather serve out your sentence in jail? Look, Paul, you got a good job and you met a nice girl. Could be worse.
I'll keep out of trouble.
All right. And you won't need this. Take it back, get your refund.
Hey, do you know it's almost 8 o'clock? Time we called it a day. Here, you can set this up tomorrow.
Mr. Clyburn, I think I'd like to stay here and finish this tonight.
Oh? Well, if you're gonna wait, I will too. I've got plenty I can do.
Mr. Clyburn, go home?
Well, how do you like that? Thrown out of my own office. Say hello to Karen for me.
I hope you don't mind us meeting here like this.
Of course not. Not the most romantic spot you can find, but, well, at least it's private.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clyburn.
Good night, Paul.
Get the shades, Ben. Well, you look surprised, Drifter. Maybe you were expecting someone else.
We told you to stay away from Karen, but you don't hear it too good, do you?
Not when you talk. Well, by the time we're through, maybe you'll learn to listen a lot better. You got off lucky, Drifter. You keep away from Karen, and next time we'll kill you.
Well, there it is. Isn't that a nice mess? No need to guess what happened after you left. I checked Paul's rooming house. He wasn't there. And his horse is missing from the livery stable.
If he's left town, he's in trouble.
The boy would have been just fine if Rip and his brothers had left him alone.
I'll take care of them later. Right now, I'm more concerned about Paul. Harris, where do you keep your rifle?
Here. Well, it was here when I left last night.
We better get out to the Thomas place.
We're just going in town after you, Hollister. Glad you showed up.
I'll bet you are.
Particularly after what happened to my place last night.
Have you seen Paul?
The Drifter? No. But when we do...
He was here. And when he left, he took Karen with him.
Now, they couldn't have gone very far, because I heard Karen moving around in the house about an hour ago.
Him running off is a violation of his probation, isn't it, Hollister?
I'll bring him back.
Well, you go right ahead, Sheriff. We'll just look for Karen.
Yeah, and when we find her, if she just happens to be with that Drifter, well, that's his tough luck.
Okay, let's go.
We got some ground to cover.
What happens if he won't go back with us?
He will. Nice day for a ride.
Sure is, Sheriff. And we're going to keep right on enjoying it.
Paul, we've come to take you back to town.
Sorry to disappoint you, Sheriff, but Karen and I are moving on.
Easy, boy. We're out here to help you.
You're a little late.
I don't think so. You said all you wanted was a decent break. Well, you got it. And the first time things got a little bit rough, you turned tail and ran.
So you moved to another town. There'll always be a situation that needs facing.
Maybe he's right, Paul. We can't keep wondering and worrying about when my brothers are going to show up. We'd never be happy that way. Let's go back together.
You sure that's what you want, Karen? What about my probation? I wasn't supposed to leave town or carry a gun.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, you and Karen just took a canter to the city limits. They're pretty big.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Harris, you take Paul back to the shop. Karen, I want to ride to the ranch with you. I want to talk to your brothers.
Fine. Be awfully angry, Mr. Hollister.
So am I.
You got some mighty fancy explaining to do.
Wait until we get our hands on that drifter.
Look, Karen's back and there's no harm done.
Keep out of this, Hollister. This is a family affair.
That's right. Just because you're wearing a badge doesn't give you the right to keep sticking your nose into our business.
I say it's a good thing he has it on. It gives him protection.
Well, I can always take it off. It's about time somebody taught you three to grow up. Since nobody else has offered to do the job, I'll volunteer.
Hollister, beating you is going to be a pleasure.
You want to try next?
You betcha.
You still feel like fighting after your arm gets well, you know where to find me. I want you and your brothers in my office tomorrow morning at 10. Thanks.
Here they come. All spruced up.
Well, you're right on time. I was going to lock all three of you up. Figured a jail term would do you good. Since the damages to the epitaph office have been paid and Paul here doesn't want to prefer charges, you're free to go.
You mean you ain't gonna press charges?
Sheriff Hollister kept me from going to jail, and I Thought I should pass on the favor.
Oh, don't just stand there looking foolish. Shake hands.
I'd like to apologize.
Mom, forget it.
Me too. About time you showed some judgment.
It must have been that licking you gave us. Sort of helped us grow up.
Yeah, the hard way. Speaking of growing up, we all look a little older today.
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be. Whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be. 'Cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
Drop it.
It's all right, Sheriff. It's no trouble. Just going to teach this teasing little filly a lesson. Why don't you just go on back to bed, huh?
I said drop the whip.
Sheriff, this ain't none of your affair. I guess you don't know who I am. My pa's Flint Anson.
Yeah, I know who you are. You boys better get him home before I'm forced to tan his britches. All right?
I think so.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened, in the town too tough to die. Tombstone territory. April 13, 1884. Wally Anson was dead. Sheriff Clay Hollister had killed him in self-defense. And as Flint Anson rode into town the next day, the town was alive with tension. Flint.
I want to put an ad in the next edition of your paper. Full page.
Full page? Sure, Flint. Come in. You have a copy?
I'll tell you what to say.
Sit down.
Write this. Attention all interested parties. I promise to pay the sum of $10,000 to the first person or persons bringing me proof of the death of the man who murdered my son.
Wally wasn't murdered, Flint, and you know it. Clay shot back at him in self-defense.
I'm not asking for your opinion. This is my ad.
And this is my newspaper. I won't print it.
All right. Somebody else will.
Flint! Listen to me. Don't do this. Think it over.
Think what over? That Wally was a weakling? That he wasn't the man I wanted him to be? He was my son. If it wasn't for this, I'd kill Hollister myself.
When you took those 2 slugs in that arm, Flint, you were defending homesteaders you didn't even know. You brought the first law and order to this part of the country. Don't throw away what you and so many others have fought so hard to get.
Sounds like one of your editorials. You never had a son. What do you think I fought for? All I can end up with is 6 feet of ground. I was thinking of Wally and his sons.
Flint.
Going through that for, Mr. Clybourne?
Where'd you get these, Willie?
Stage was full of them. The driver dropped off a couple bundles with the mail. And then he gave me $2 and said I should push them up all over town.
Well, didn't you read it?
Yeah, but it's none of my business what it says. $2 isn't easy to come by. Hey, you can't do that. Give me those.
What's going on? Flint didn't waste much time, did he?
Great.
Hey, you can't do that. Stop it.
That's not going to help any, Harris.
Well, he's not going to put these up in Tombstone.
Mr. Clybourne has no right to stop me from putting them up. Does he, Sheriff?
No, Willie, nobody has. You go right ahead. What are you trying to do, Harris? Keep progress?
Progress?
Yeah, $10,000. It's a lot more than most reward posters offer. Here you go, Willie. I wouldn't want you to run short.
Ain't nothing personal in this. You understand, Sheriff? The driver gave me $2 to do a job. I gotta do it.
Sure.
Yes, sir, gents. I'm offering 2-to-1 odds that Sheriff Clay Hollister doesn't live through the next 7 days. Now, you, sir, there's a certain expression on that handsome, intelligent face of yours that tells me you don't agree with my thinking. All right, sir. I will wager you $50 against your 25 that within 7 days from this date, Sheriff Hollister will be pushing up daisies on Boot Hill. No? All right, you gents name the stakes. I'll lay the odds and cover all bets. Evening, Sheriff. I was just saying to these gents...
I know, mister. I heard.
Nothing personal, Sheriff. I'm a gambler. I bet on anything.
I'm getting fed up with this nothing personal talk. I tell you what, you're a gambler. Why don't you try for the big stake yourself?
I don't know what you mean, Sheriff.
Why fool around with this penny ante stuff? If you're so sure I'm going to be dead within a week, why not fix it so you can't lose?
I'm no gunslinger, Sheriff.
I don't figure you carry this just for luck. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn my back and walk for that door. That'll give you 4, maybe 5 seconds where you can pick up that gun and shoot me. If you do, you'll earn yourself $10,000. course, I just might shoot back. Is that clear, mister? What's the matter, gambler? Didn't you like the odds? I got to admit it, Harris. I'm getting a little jumpy.
Look, Clay, you can't handle this alone. The mayor's calling a meeting at his house tonight. He's asking for volunteers to help you, well, keep an eye on things.
You mean a bodyguard? Well, I can guess who started the idea. Look, I appreciate it, Harris, but don't drag other people into it. It's my fight, just mine.
Well, I don't see it that way. That stage is carrying those posters by the hundreds. The territory will be covered with them.
Yeah. I figure by the end of the week, everybody who can squeeze a trigger and is looking for a fast dollar will be headed this way.
That's right. Well, you don't like my idea. What's yours?
Haven't got one yet. Well, I got a tour to finish.
Oh, Clay, I think I'd like some air myself. Do you mind if I walk along with you?
Yes, Harris, I do. One of them might be a bum shot. Nick you.
Willie. Hello, Clay.
Jack. All right, Harris, I know him. He's the marshal from Globe, Jack Bolton.
Clay, you ought to be careful letting kids like this play with a gun. A mighty sharp bead aimed right at the back of your head.
Not much need to ask why, is there, Willie?
Figure somebody's going to kill you, Sheriff. I had nothing against you. But for that kind of money.
Well, least way, he's honest.
What's there to laugh about, Bolton?
He's still alive, ain't he?
Lucky for me you came along when you did, Jack.
Lucky nothing. That's the way I had a plan, Clay. You're the talk of the territory. Thought you might need the help of a brother lawman. I got a great plan, so let's lock this hyena up and I'll tell you all about it.
Marshal John Bolton from Globe had saved Clay Hollister from being shot in the back. The lawman had a plan, and Hollister was willing to listen.
I've known Flint Anson ever since he came out west. And the only way you're going to settle this is with a personal conference. A showdown of words instead of a showdown of guns.
Maybe so. At least it's better than sitting around waiting.
That's right. That's why we catch old Flint by surprise.
You going along too, Marshal?
Yeah, like I said, I know Anson better than anybody. I can talk to him, and if he won't listen, and worse comes to worse, we always got a couple law guns to back us up.
Well, if that's the case, it seems to me it would be better to go up there with a real show of strength. I can get any number of men to ride out there with us.
No, that's no good. You see, this way it's man to man, just Clay and Flint. I'm only going to go along just to try to get them together.
I don't know, Clay. You'd be riding right into Flint's stronghold.
You got a better plan?
Well, maybe we can think of one.
No, Harris, I think Jack's right. Personal showdown, one way or the other.
That's right, son. Old Flint's eyes are going to pop right out of his head when we come riding up together.
Let's go.
I don't like it, Clay.
I haven't liked it from the beginning.
Figure you want to meet up with those gents. Bounty hunters. Yeah, just the beginning. Well, let's go, Clay. They're heading for Tombstone.
Jake? Jake? Wake up!
Harris Claiborne, what are you doing here?
Wake up, Jake. I want you to send a telegraph message.
At this hour of the night? Who to?
The mayor of Globe. Come on, Jake.
Give me a chance to put my pants on, will you?
This is more important than your pants. Now, you send this, and don't you go back to bed until you get an answer. You hear me? It says what I think it will. I've got a long ride ahead of me. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Nothing. I just got a bad back, Clay. Not as young as I used to be. You've been riding pretty hard. What do you say we rest the horses?
Sure, we got a few minutes.
There's a stream over yonder. I'll water the horses down. If you want to build a fire, we'll have a spot of breakfast, all right?
You call it your plan.
Come on, boy.
Are you sure the telegraph's working?
Of course it's working. You gotta give him time. Probably got the mayor of Globe up the same way you got me. Give him time.
Well, we should have had an answer by now. Are you sure it's working? What's it say?
Bolden? This? Charged. No. Authority as law man.
Thanks, Jake.
Hey, don't you want your message?
Don't move, boy. Unbuckle your gun belt and bring your hands up real high.
You really do have a plan, don't you?
That's better, boy. Now you raise up on those hind legs of yours, real nice and slow.
You know, Jack, anybody had asked me, I would have bet 5 years' pay you'd be the last man in the world to do this.
5 years? Don't be a piker. Make it 10 years. 10 years of pay and you still don't come close to that bounty. Oh, yeah, they give you a badge and a gun and a high-sounding title, and for $78 a month, they ask you to go out and risk your neck.
You didn't used to talk that way when we rode together. You used to say, if a man was interested in money, this was the wrong job for him.
Yeah, I guess I did say that. Just shows you how local a man can get sometime. There was a time when I believed all those things. If you protect a town, they'll appreciate it, respect you, repay you. But I found out different. Clay, I'm 40 years old. 22 years I spent behind this stinking badge. And they said I was getting too old and too slow. Oh, they kept me on all right, but as a deputy. But only because nobody had the stomach to fire me outright.
So you turned bounty hunter?
No, I hung on. Then I came across this bank robber who offered me $500 if I'd let him go. Clay, there was a time when I would have busted his neck. But I took the money. Yeah, I took it. The town found out about it. Gave me exactly 24 hours to get out.
What do you want me to do? Tell you how badly you were treated?
Oh, no, Clay. $10,000 buys a heap of comfort.
How are you going to explain the shooting?
Everybody knows the bounty hunters were gunning for you. In fact, I had to wing one myself back there in Tombstone. Those two we saw a while ago, they ought to be in town by now. We'll just say that we were ambushed. Might even give myself a little flesh wound to show how I was trying to protect you again.
You think they'll believe you?
Well, that's just a chance I'm willing to take.
Then how are you going to collect the reward?
Anson. Anson's a friend of mine, remember? He'll be the only one that really knew what happened. That satisfy you?
Nothing satisfies me right now.
Well, it's getting late. It's just about that time. Now, how do you want it? In the front or in the back?
I don't suppose looking me in the eye is going to stop you now.
I'm afraid not.
If it's all the same to you, I'd just as soon be facing you. They were right. I was getting too old.
Here's the first body you've bought, Anson. There's liable to be a lot more before this is over. Hello, Harris. Glad you're here. I got a story for you. On the morning of April 18th, there was a final showdown between the hired gunman of Flint Anson and Sheriff Clay Hollister. Now, which one of you was tempted by the 10,000 like he was?
He was my friend.
Yes, Flint, he liked you too. And your money. There'll be a lot more come for your money. You won't know him. Maybe you won't care.
You might be interested in this, Anson. That's a petition signed by the citizens of Tombstone, asking that you retract that price on Clay's head. Look it over. Some of those names are your best friends. And they wanted me to tell you something else. They've always respected and admired you. You once fought on the side of law and order. But the first time it hits you personally, you're on the other side. Think it over, Flint. All the killing in the world isn't going to bring your boy back.
We'll take care of the body.
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be, 'cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened, in the town too tough to die. Tombstone territory. November 29, 1883. Whenever Doc Cunningham broke into a run, it was certain to be a matter of life or death.
Clay, Tom Belden's been shot.
Where is he? How bad's he hurt?
Cottonwood Canyon Trail. Well, he's in bad shape. The payroll money for the ranch is gone, too.
That figures. Why didn't you bring him in?
He's hurt too bad. He must have laid there all night. Miss Belden told me to go out looking for him.
All right. Quet, you keep an eye on things around here.
All right, Clay.
Doc, you and Riker get a buckboard. We'll need it to bring Tom in.
You don't mind if the epitaph rides along?
Not if it rides fast.
The morning of November 29, 1883. Tom Belden's assailant had done his work well.
He's dead.
You said he was conscious briefly when you found him. Did he say anything?
He could hardly talk. All he said was, masked man rode a sorrel horse.
How much would the ranch payroll amount to?
I guess it tallied out to around $1,500.
Let's get him on the wagon.
any plaster Paris in the bag?
Why, yeah, I guess so. I got a pound or so.
Thanks.
What are you going to do with that?
The man that shot Belden was riding a lame horse. Take a look at that hoof print. It wasn't made by Belden's horse. You notice anything odd about it?
Yeah, one hole seems to have a nail missing.
That's right. Left front hoof. The horse was favoring it. Print isn't as deep as the others.
I still don't see what that's got to do with plaster of Paris.
I'll show you. You're about to witness the latest wrinkle in detection as practiced by the French Sûreté.
The what?
I read about it in Leslie's Monthly. It's called moulage, making plaster casts out of footprints and other things.
How much longer do you think it'll be?
Should be ready pretty quick now.
Say, Clay, do you think that Belden could have been killed by his foreman?
Ben Riker?
He's got a bad record, you know.
I know.
The business of him coming in for the dock and guiding us back here.
I'll talk to him. Perfect. Look at that. Every detail sharp and clear. You can even see that little triangular gouge in the frog of the hoof. Yeah. Come on, let's get back to town.
I want you to know, Sheriff, I don't hold no hard feelings. On account of you might have figured that I bushwhacked the boss. What with my background?
I have to check all the angles, Riker.
I know that. And I reckon it looked as though I could have done it. I like my boss. I'd give my right arm from here on out to see the snake that killed him dangling at the end of a rope.
Maybe you will.
Well, if you want me, you know where to find me.
Don't worry. If I want you, I'll find you.
Gentry.
Hello, Sheriff. Obliged you take a look at this for me.
Sure, what is it?
Plaster cast of a hoof print.
Well, so it is.
You ever seen that shoe before?
Would it matter if I have or haven't?
Might make the difference in whether or not I catch the man that killed Tom Belden.
Tom Belden of the Box B?
That's right. Mean anything to you?
Being a law-abiding citizen, Sheriff, I want to tell the truth. But if I do, I'm as good as accusing a man of murder.
Then you do recognize it.
I put that shoe on Asa Sibley's horse just a couple of days ago.
Are you sure it's the same one?
You see that missing nail?
Huh?
I left it out of purpose. Sibley's horse had a corn in his hoof. That nail would have gone right into it. I left it out to give the corn a chance to heal.
Well, couldn't it be some other shoe that just happened to be missing a nail?
Ain't a blacksmith around worth his salt that can't tell every shoe he ever made. By the shapings of it, even the hammer markings. That's my shoe, and I put it on Asa Sibley's horse.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
That's a real nice chestnut. You figure the owner might want to sell?
No, I don't figure so. I'm the owner.
I can't say as I blame you.
I can do without visitors.
You always greet him with a rifle, Sibley?
All the friends I ever had stole me blind sooner or later.
I'm not in what you could call a friendly mood. I'm Clay Hollister, sheriff of Tombstone. I'm here on business.
What business?
Tom Belden was killed yesterday afternoon. Hoof prints at the scene of the shooting could have been made by your horse.
Well, that's a lie. I ain't been out of this place in 2 days.
Can you prove it?
No. I live by myself.
2 days, huh? Is that when you took your horse in to be shod?
Well, what if it was?
Gantry shod your horse with the shoe that made the incriminating print.
He said that? Then he's a liar. And you're a liar. You're out to get me, the lot of you. Sheriff?
Put on the gun, Sibley.
Now you get back on that horse and get out of here. I ain't done nothing. Now you get.
You're calling it.
I don't like it. But if you have to have it the hard way, I'll oblige. You let go. You let go of me. Hey! What? You have no right. I'll get even with you, sir. Suppose it makes no difference to you that you got the wrong man.
Maybe the wrong man, but it looks like you own the right horse.
Sheriff. What'd you have to do, kill him?
No, it turned out he was the wrong man.
Wrong man. But that plaster cast showed a nail missing from the shoe.
Yeah? We made a mistake. Sibley's horse does have a nail missing from one shoe, but the shoe itself doesn't match the cast. Thanks for your help anyway.
Yeah.
You wanted to see me, Gantry?
Likely to be the other way around, if you hear what I've got to say.
About what?
About who killed Belden?
What do you mean?
I mean, I know who killed Belden. So does Hollister, only he's not doing anything about it.
How do you know all about this?
Hollister was here with a plaster cast of the hoof print of the horse the murderer was riding. I knew who owned that horse. I told Hollister, and he went out to see the man. He came back alone, though.
Who was it?
The horse belonged to Asa Sibley.
I'm going to go out there and kill him myself.
No, Riker. That's not the way. You'll just wind up on the end of a rope. Now, Belden had a lot of friends, and they'll feel like we do once we tell them about it.
Clay, Gantry and Ben Riker are spreading lynch talk against Sibley all over town.
Yeah, I know it.
Well, what's worse, they're getting plenty of listeners. I don't like it.
I don't either, so I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to put Sibley under protective custody. I'll feel better with him in a cell instead of out on that sage patch of his.
He's a funny old duck. What if he won't cooperate?
He will. I think he's had his belly full of not cooperating.
The afternoon of November 29, 1883. Asa Sibley had no mind or stomach for one of Tombstone's jail cells. But whether by recollection of the sheriff's fists or by the persuasiveness of his arguments, the sodbuster finally gave in.
Looks like I win again. You want to play for a penny a point?
Oh, thank you. Can't have the deputy making more money than the sheriff. Hey, were you ever a dealer? A crooked one, maybe?
Hey, tell me you got that murdering Sibley in jail here.
Yeah, Sibley's here.
Well, then you change your mind? You're going to make him pay for killing the boss?
No, Riker, Sibley didn't do it. He's innocent. But you and Gantry have been spreading lynch talk. And I'm taking no chances on mob action.
Well, you got a lot of gall to stand there and tell me you're protecting him.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Well, what about Tom Belden?
You just take it easy, boy.
Take it easy? Hollister, you know what Tom Belden did for me? You know what I was when he took me on as a hand?
Yeah, Tom was a good judge of horses, cattle, and men. He made no mistake on you, Ben. Don't you make a mistake now.
Well, I ain't gonna wait for no lynch mob.
I'll just keep this for you until you cool down. Quint, see that he stays out of trouble.
On the surface, Tombstone was calm, but in the saloons and gambling halls, there was ferment. Gantry and Riker had done their job well. The situation was explosive, and all it needed now was a spark to set it off.
Harris.
Oh, morning, Clay.
I want you to do something for me.
What is it?
I want you to go down to Gantry's blacksmith shop and get him up here to the printing plant on some pretext. And keep him here as long as you can.
Gantry, what for?
Because he was wrong about that hoof print belonging to Sibley's horse. He was wrong or he lied. There's only one logical reason for him to lie, to cover himself. Besides, there's something else. Gantry owns a chestnut horse. To a dying man, that could look the same color as sorrel. Well, how about it? Will you do it for me?
When?
Right now. You give me about 5 minutes head start and go into your act. Tell Gantry that, well, tell him that the press broke down. You need him to repair it.
All right. But you just remember, that Gantry is about twice as big as I am. That makes me a prime candidate for Doc Cunningham. Or for Jake Riddle, the Undertaker.
Well, Harris, I have complete confidence in you.
Well, I wish I could say the same.
Owen, if there's any trouble, you stay out of it.
Afternoon.
Howdy.
Gantry, I've got myself in something of a fix. I wonder if you could help me out.
Well, not if it's right now, I can't.
Oh, listen, man, I got a copy of the newspaper to get out today. And the bed of that press won't seem to move one way or another. One of the rollers is either jammed or cracked.
Well, I'd like to help you, but I got to get this wheel out.
Well, it won't take you but a minute, Gantry. To look at it, if it looks like too big a job, you can just forget about it.
Well, I guess I can spare a minute.
Well, I'm sure much obliged to you. I don't like to miss an edition if I don't have to.
Keep me here, have you?
Of course not. Why would I do a thing like that?
I don't know, but if it turns out you have, I'll come back to take things apart, not to fix them. Looking for something, Hollister?
I'm looking for something.
What?
Money you stole from Belden after you killed him.
What are you talking about? You know Asa Sibley killed Belden.
No, Gantry. When Sibley brought a lame horse into you, and you left a nail out of its shoe, you saw a golden opportunity to pull a job that you'd been thinking about for a long time.
Oh, I'll talk. I ain't gonna listen to it.
Tom Belden paid his hands off like clockwork. He came to the bank a certain day of every month, certain hour of the day. Your job on Sibley's horse coincided. So you fixed up a shoe on your own horse, missing a nail, and went out to waylay Belden. He was right on time, as usual.
You said the murderer's horse was lame. My horse ain't lame.
No, not now. You were smarter there than I gave you credit for, Gantry. How'd you fake it? With a wedge pressing into the frog or a piece of wire around the ankle?
You can't prove a thing.
Yes, I can. The moulage I made doesn't match the shoe on your horse now because you got panicky and put on a new one. But the cast does show a little triangular gouge your horse has in the frog of his hoof. And I found that horseshoe, the one you tried to destroy.
Drop your gun, bell lawman.
That the gun that killed Tom Belden? You better think twice about this, Gantry. Gunshot in here will bring a crowd running. How do you explain it?
I'm gonna shoot you in the back, Hollister. Then I can say it was a mistake. I saw you in here and thought you were a thief. Now turn around.
He had Belden's money on him all the time. Where were you, Harris? Could have used a little help. I try to keep those jail cells clean and ship-shape, but they're no substitute for home, huh, Sibley?
Well, thanks for all you done for me, Sheriff.
Sibley, I came pretty close to making a jackass out of myself, or worse.
Well, whatever you done it for Belden.
No, listen, a man lives lonely and solitary like you do. Well, it ain't right for a man to live that way, and, well, there's other places he could be useful.
Are you offering me a job, Riker?
Well, now, don't go thinking it's charity, because it ain't.
Well, I'll think about it.
You do that.
Well,
If anyone needs proof that the age of miracles isn't past, there it is.
Yeah, they are kind of an unlikely pair. This goes to show you never can tell. Say, Harris, how about a game of cribbage?
Sheriff, now you are in trouble.
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be, 'cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
Reed Barker knew the Oriental Saloon had taken in a lot of money.
A minute at the bar. Get over to the wall. Drop the gun.
And I'm certainly glad that it's you, Sheriff, because there's a holdup in there. In fact, I think he's still in there.
Really? That bag of money you got in your hand makes me think he's right out here.
There?
That's right. Drop it. Any more tricks, friend? Inside. You're not going to kill me? Guess you haven't heard about Tombstone, friend. I got a little thing here called due process of law. Means I'm supposed to take you in alive. If I can.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened in the town too tough to die. Tombstone territory. September 8, 1881. Not quite a month later, Reed Barker had been tried and convicted of armed robbery and murder. But the trouble was only beginning.
Something I can do for you?
Come and see a guest of yours, Sheriff. Reed Barker.
Sorry, Barker isn't allowed any visitors.
Well, it hardly seems fair not to let him see his own kin. He's my brother.
Your brother?
That's right, Sheriff. I'm Seth Barker. Now, wouldn't I be plumb out of my head to come here if I was wanted someplace, Sheriff? I'm not like old Reed. Never done nothing wrong in my whole life. And Reed, he don't have no kin at all, except me.
All right, I'll give you 5 minutes with him.
You act like you kind of feared old Reed, Sheriff.
Unbuckle your gun belt.
You feared of me too, Sheriff?
A murderer who shoots people in the back just might have a brother equally as heroic.
You're right, Sheriff. Ain't no sense taking chances.
Face that wall. Brace your hands up against it. All right, that way. Clint, keep an eye on the store.
Sure, Clay.
Somebody to see you, Barker. You got 5 minutes.
Hello, Reed.
You sure took your sweet time getting here.
Come as fast as I could. Dude, I told you you would help.
Say, Sheriff, would you mind, could my brother and I have a couple of minutes privacy?
Sorry.
It's all right, Sheriff. Say, Seth, you remember that farewell party that you had in mind? Well, we're going to forget all about it. Understand?
But, it's all planned.
Now, I said forget it. You see, I've had an awful lot of time to think since I've been in here. And, well, I've seen the error of my ways. I should have lived a better life, more like the sheriff and all of his men.
Sure, Reed. That's right.
You remember the way it was back in Topeka?
Topeka?
About 2 years ago, that guy that was going to die.
Oh, sure. I remember.
You remember that? Well, you remember how he repented near the end? Well, that's the way I want to go.
Oh, sure.
I'll tell you what I want you to do. I want you to go and see Pa. Last I heard, he was living just outside of town. Poor old man, he never did have much, and I think if you was to give him $1,000, I think it'd be real pleasurable to him.
I'll do that, Reed. You have my word on it.
Good.
Time's up.
You go and see Pa as soon as you can, huh?
I will, Reed.
Bye, sir.
It's all yours, Quint.
Right.
Farewell party, forget it. Like the sheriff and his men. Topeka. Why'd you underline that?
Topeka 2 years ago. It meant something, some kind of a plan. That part about forgetting the farewell party, I'm sure that has something to do with trying to break Reed out of jail. But he's not going to do that now. He's got some other kind of a plan. They talked it out right in front of me. A plan to get Reed out of jail.
Well, at least you can take all the precautions you need.
What precautions? I've done everything I can think of. It's got to be something I wouldn't think of. Something right there in that code. Like Reed telling Seth to give his pa $1,000.
Well, maybe he meant it. He stole over $20,000 that hasn't been found.
Yeah, but according to Seth, Reed has no other family. Just him.
I wish I had the Topeka files of 2 years ago. They might help. I'll tell you what. I'll write for him.
No, that might be too late.
Convinced that the conversation he had witnessed between Reed and Seth Barker was some sort of coded plan on the part of the brothers, Sheriff Clay Hollister rode out to talk to Noah Crane, the hangman. The sheriff was taking every precaution against any last-minute escape attempt on the part of the killer.
One hanging's just like any other. Now, why all the fuss, huh?
You just conduct the hanging, Noah. Let me take care of the arrangements.
What are the arrangements?
I'll let you know when the time comes.
You know, it must be true what people have been saying all over town.
What's that?
That you're scared someone's going to come in and take that boy away from you?
Nobody's going to take the boy, Noah. You just buy yourself that new rope. You'll be using it.
You see something?
Just a couple of hours to go. If somebody's going to grab Barker, it'll have to be soon.
Has he given you any hint that he's expecting help?
No, not in so many words. Just doesn't act like a man who knows he's going to die.
Well, what are the chances, Clay? I mean, what if a dozen or so men suddenly rode into town? Could they take him?
I don't think so. First place, they couldn't surprise us. I've got men hidden out there. No, it's not that I'm worried about. It's the unknown. There's something going on that we don't know about.
Hey, what's going on?
Dawn, Reed. Time to go.
Dawn. Not gonna be much of an audience, is there?
It's the idea. Won't be anybody there but the necessary witnesses and the guards.
Yeah? What kind of a day is it? Nice day for a hanging?
Is there such a thing?
Hey, get your hands off of me. Now, you listen to me, Sheriff. You're looking at one man who is not afraid to die.
Looks like you're afraid I might get away, Sheriff.
My job to see you don't.
Anytime you're ready, Judge.
Reed Barker, by legal order of a duly appointed court of law.
All right, now, isn't it enough? I had to listen to that stuff once. Now, let's get it over with.
Do you want to say anything before this sentence is carried out?
No.
You want a blindfold?
No.
Rope broke. What? Oh. That's right. It broke. Now, get me loose.
You're gonna have to go back to jail till we get a ruling on this.
Well, you can't hang me twice. That's the law, isn't it, Judge?
If it was an act of God.
What if it wasn't? What if it was a deliberate accident?
If you can prove criminal conspiracy, then I'll reschedule the execution.
Now, just a minute. What do you mean, prove? Now, the rope broke, so I'm free. Now, what have you got to prove?
We'll see.
Reed Barker had been hanged, and he was still alive. And one thing was certain, the rope had not been cut.
What happened to it, Noah? You're responsible. What happened?
I don't know. It was brand new, the same as always.
Yeah. Look, Judge, this didn't just happen.
Can you produce proof?
Well, give me some time.
The law states that if a criminal survives an execution and there's no proof of criminal conspiracy, he is absolved of all the crimes with which he was charged.
You're turning loose a murderer.
Now, you heard what the judge said. Now, you've got to turn me loose.
All right, Quinn, unlock him.
Thank you kindly, Sheriff.
Don't thank me.
Well, gents, who's going to join me at the Oriental? You know, an ordeal like this gives a man a mighty dry throat. I'll thank you if you'd return my gun to me, Sheriff.
Quinn, take care of it.
Looks like he's a mite scared, Reed.
You're like he just saw a ghost. A drink, you.
Yes.
You did pretty good.
You can always trust me, Reed.
Yeah. Hey, what did you have to pay?
2,000.
2,000? You sure don't care how you spend my money.
Well, I got him down from 5. It was worth it at twice the money.
Yeah.
Reed, let's get out of here. I got us a couple of horses.
Now, just sit down and relax. Look, I am a free man. I don't have to run from anybody, and I can stay here as long as I want. Forever if I want to.
Sure you can. Only that little old tin can bank over in Bartlettville, it's not going to stay full of gold forever. I figure we best be moving.
Now, I'm still doing the figuring the same as always. And I figure we're going to stay here until tonight. You see, it's not every day that you get to pick up an easy $2,000.
Reed.
Hmm?
You're not figuring on taking that money back.
Back from my friend? The one you gifted my $2,000 to? Well, now, it can't stick it. It can't stick it in the bank. And if somebody was to take it from him, it can't complain to the sheriff. Is that right? Now, relax.
It had to be a trick.
Clay, we went over every inch of those gallows. There wasn't a thing. Noah's been the hangman for years. We know he bought the rope brand new, same as always.
I know. So we're right back where we started from.
What is it?
You tell me.
Kind of a sharp odor. Gunpowder?
No, I don't think so. It smells to me more like some kind of an acid.
That's what it is, all right. Hydrochloric acid.
Well, how would you apply it to the rope, Doc? Just dip it in?
Not necessarily. As a matter of fact, that acid is so powerful that, well, it would eat through the rope immediately.
Well, suppose you wanted the rope to break when a certain amount of weight was pulling on it. But you had to make sure that if anybody examined it first, it would look and feel just like an ordinary rope. How would you do it?
Well,
I think I'd use a medicine dropper. A few drops of the acid on the inside strand so it wouldn't show.
That's it. I think you've got your proof. Doc, can you spare some of that in a medicine dropper?
Sure, Clay.
Harris, I want you to do me a favor. Get me a new rope, then go down to the blacksmith shop. Tell him I want to borrow an anvil. Have him deliver it to the gallows.
An anvil?
Weighing about 180 pounds.
Afraid exactly like the first one. But who?
It was never very friendly, but then hanging people and digging graves isn't a very friendly way of life, or one that pays very well.
You ain't got no right to accuse me of anything, Sheriff. And that newspaper man got no right nosing around my place.
He's acting as my deputy, Noah. You know, I think we're going to prove that you doctored that rope. Might go easier on you if you confessed first.
No, you ain't making much sense, Sheriff. I always done my job fair, and anybody...
What do you got, Harris? The acid?
Nope. $2,000.
Yes, sir. $2,000. That's what we're going to pick us up tonight.
Anytime you say, Reed.
Well, I say right now. Any objections?
Oh, no, sir, Mr. Barker. No objections.
No, sir, Mr. Barker. Let me tell you something, Mr. Bartender. This here's the town that tried to hang me, only they couldn't. Not Reed Barker, because he's the only man that's tougher than Tombstone.
Oh, that's right, Mr. Barker.
That's right, Mr. Barker. You know that's right, Mr. Barker. And I want you to give that sheriff of yours a message. You tell him that Reed Barker's not finished with him.
Reed! They got the hangman. Sheriff's headed this way. He's coming for you, Reed.
Well, good. You go out there and tell him I left. I go around the back way and get him while he's talking to you. Go on.
Hello, Sheriff.
Drop the gun belt.
Yeah? Mind if I ask you what I did?
Where is he?
Old Reed? He left here a while ago.
Come on out, Barker.
You didn't hang me anyway.
Clay? Huh.
take of papers from 2 years ago? A little late. But look here. It explains what Reed was talking about.
Yeah.
A condemned killer bribed a hangman to have the rope break.
Mm-hmm.
Well, aren't you interested?
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Just playing around with his code. Paul, of course, meant Noah, and $1,000 was the amount of bribe that Reed thought Seth should offer. So, what happened to your Topeka killer?
Well, he got away with it for a while. They discovered the plot when the hangman started throwing money around.
I guess Reed would have gotten away with it, too, if he hadn't stayed here. Instead, he killed his brother.
And got killed.
Yeah. One time he told the truth.
How do you mean?
He said he wouldn't hang. He didn't.
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I want to be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be, 'cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
Another cave-in deep in the muddy shale tunnel of Gurney Mine Number 5.
There's no need for the sheriff to go in so far.
No, probably couldn't find any more of them.
He's still breathing.
Drive them into town easy as you can. That's all there are. Carl Vogel won't be coming out.
All accounted for, Hollister?
Yeah, except for Vogel. Tunnel caved in at least 50 feet this side of where he was working.
Get the rest of them back to work, Mr. Jameson. I want a new shaft north from the cave-in.
You're not sending them back into that death trap, are you?
This is the third cave-in this spring. 7 men, Mr. Gurney.
I'm not forcing anybody to work for me. If they can find other jobs, let them. Get started, Mr. Jameson.
All right, men. Let's get moving. Back to work, everybody.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened. In the town too tough to die. Tombstone territory. Another mine disaster in Tombstone. Anson Gurney, owner of the mine, had a ready answer. Open another shaft, continue the work at any price, including human life.
Harris, there has to be a law to stop these disasters. In Gurney's mine and all the mines.
A man can't be without reason.
He's without conscience. How can we get a law? Territorial legislature isn't in session. And, of course, with Gurney's influence. You know, the rest of the territory isn't interested. Even Tombstone doesn't care, except for the miners and their widows.
Oh, we can make them care. We'll write out the provisions of a law and let the epitaph sell it.
Well, we can try it. Maybe we can scare Gurney into closing up number 5.
Anybody you two could scare couldn't amount to much. Just collecting my daily salary, Sheriff. In case I want to see me some new country, I don't want to be bothered hunting up His Honor the Editor to collect what's coming to me.
Fred, why don't you settle down?
Oh, I never stay in one town more than a month. Now, if you two fellas can hang on to me for, oh, say 2 more weeks, you will have broken the record.
Why don't you hang it up? There's another nail.
And get dust all over it?
You know, Fred, if you'd settle down for a while and stay on, you could afford to buy yourself a new hat.
That hat was given to me by none other than Horace Greeley himself. Why don't you go arrest somebody, Sheriff? We got work to do.
I'm going to go check on the office, Harris. After that, we'll go lay on the line for Gurney.
You better remake the front page, Fred.
Another cave-in?
Fred, the sheriff and the epitaph are going to wage a fight for mine safety legislation. Why don't you stick around and help us?
I'm a printer. I'll never be killed in a mine cave-in.
Well, I'm afraid you're wasting your time, Sheriff. There's no law that compels me to spend $100,000 to timber a tunnel that won't yield 50.
But, Mr. Gurney, I'm not talking as the law. I'm just a plain citizen asking you either to close number 5 or make it safe.
Your number 3's no safer, Mr. Gurney. Neither is number 8. Underground seepage from the San Pedro River has turned them both into wet, crumbling honeycombs.
Underground seepage.
Have you ever studied the geology of this area, Mr. Jameson? There's a network of tributary streams running under all of the Tombstone diggings.
We've never had any trouble in 3 or 8.
Why, of course not. And when we do, if we do, we'll spend what's necessary to keep them producing. That satisfy you, gentlemen?
No, Mr. Gurney, it doesn't. The territorial legislature can force you to make those mines safe or close them before there's trouble.
Yeah. I'm afraid the Cochise County representatives won't see the necessity.
People will. The epitaph's going to tell them about it.
Well, if Mr. Clyburn wants to take that sort of advantage...
You're welcome to space in the epitaph, Mr. Gurney. I, for one, would be interested in how you explain your lack of concern for the men who work your mines.
Well, I might take you up on that offer. But in the meantime, let's see what you print.
I guess I finally taught you how to write a headline.
Better look at this. That's a lot of signatures, Mr. Gurney.
Well, then a few $1,000s spent to nullify them is very little. The territorial legislature goes back into session in a week. The Cochise County boys are not introducing mine safety legislation.
The epitaph's got circulation all around the territory.
Circulation, yes. But no influence. Where it counts.
Well, where have you been? I've been looking all over for you. Read this.
From the governor. Epitaph proposals deserve immediate legislative action. Suggest you meet in Tucson Thursday with delegates from Pima, Maricopa, Gila, and Coconino counties. Assure you sympathetic hearing and my personal backing. Harris, we got him licked.
Close to it, I'd say.
Thought you might be interested, Sheriff. His Honor the Editor dashed off someplace like his coattail was embroidered with dynamite.
You sure didn't waste any time getting these out.
Epitaph will meet top lawmakers. I'm going to deliver a couple of these myself. Mr. Gurney. I was just coming out to your place.
Well, Clyburn will be in Tucson until Friday. Well, at least we'll be spared this sort of sensationalism for a couple of days.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, Mr. Gurney, but the Epitaph will be coming out just as usual.
I don't think I've had the pleasure, gents. What's this all about?
I'm Anson Gurney. Your editor offered me space in the paper whenever I wanted it.
He has a habit of playing square.
I'm taking that space right now. Front page. Oh, you'll notice the article says, by Harris Clyburn. Well, that's right. It's all about me. Sort of a reflection of Clyburn's own opinion.
If I print this under Clyburn's byline, you'll have a libel suit against him. A pip of the libel suit.
Exactly. A libel suit that'll discredit everything he's written about my mines. One that'll drive the Epitaph right out of business.
Sheriff? He makes his rounds about 2 or 3 o'clock. He probably won't stop in.
And again, he might. One wrong move out of you and both of you get it. One wrong move.
Brad! Look, I'm busy. I got a paper to get out.
Yeah. Any word from Harris?
Look, why don't you go arrest somebody, Sheriff?
You know, now I know why you never stay anyplace very long. You're antisocial.
Put one in the window.
Now, how'd you like $500 and a fast horse?
Well, take it.
That's Clyburn's. $500 and a fast horse. I'd drive a sharp bargain.
Go ahead, Mr. Jameson.
Dynamite?
When the men come to work, Mr. Jameson, blast now might attract attention.
It just couldn't have gone better, Clay. The bill will be introduced at the opening session of the legislature, and it's sure to pass.
If we keep on fighting.
Hey, I'll hand it to you, Mr. Editor. You really call a spade a spade.
April 12, 1883. The latest edition of the Epitaph had come out with a libelous front-page story about Anson Gurney and his mining operations. And the man responsible for the printing of the story had disappeared.
He skipped town, all right. Wasn't at the boarding house. Nobody's seen him. I guess I'll just have to send out his description on the telegraph.
Oh, let him go. Wouldn't do any good if we found him. The damage is done. As editor and publisher, I'm legally responsible for everything the Epitaph prints.
Huh?
Why? Why would he do it? I would have trusted that old fellow with my...
Get in there about 20, 30 feet and touch it off. Understand? I told you Mr. Gurney wants number 5 closed. You still got jobs. Report number 3 as soon as we're through here.
What's going on?
Routine blasting, Sheriff.
Since when has it been routine for Gurney to shut off a mine that might have a dime's worth of ore left in it?
Mr. Gurney and I don't want to expose our miners to any danger.
You're a little bit late. About 3 cave-ins too late?
You and your editor friend have been working up a big head of steam for nothing.
Gentlemen?
I believe you know Martin Tyre.
Yes, indeed, Mr. Tyre.
I just retained him as my attorney.
Mr. Tyre, I don't deny my responsibility. I do deny any prior knowledge of that article. I was in Tucson when it appeared. Now, I'll be happy to print a retraction.
I demand legal vindication.
Your vicious irresponsibility is going to be exposed to the entire territory. I'm filing suit in Mr. Gurney's behalf for $100,000.
Counselor?
I'll need you later, Sheriff. I want you to serve a summons.
How much do they want? $100,000? Man, I couldn't even meet a judgment for $5,000.
Well, maybe you won't have to.
Well, I wish you could tell me how.
Look, Harris. Fred wouldn't leave town without his hat and his watch unless he couldn't help himself. There's only one logical explanation for this. Gurney is trying to kill our mine legislation, and with you in Tucson, he saw his chance. I think he forced Fred to print that article and then killed him.
Well, what makes you think that? If he killed him, where's the body?
They've sealed off Gurney number 5 with dynamite. Sealed it off for good just before I got there.
Well, then, if your hunch is right, Fred's body's in that mine shaft.
Yeah. What good's a hunch you can't prove? But I got another hunch. After I left the mine, I rode over to the San Pedro River. I found what I was looking for. A man's body was hung up in the rocks.
Whose? Fred's? I thought you said you didn't find him.
It wasn't Fred's. But if my hunch is going to pay off, I'll need his hat and a bucket of water.
Both of them this time. This is the second time Hollister's been out today.
Think they'll find anything, Mr. Jameson?
Nothing. There's nothing they can find.
Well, then don't act like there was. Don't get bluffed out of a stake we've already won.
I'll have to kind of play this by ear, Harris.
Right.
Out looking for news, Clybourne?
So you finally sealed it off, Gurney.
Tight as a drum.
So the epitaph accomplished something after all.
Clybourne, you don't want to face a libel suit and judgment you can't possibly pay, do you? I might make a deal with you.
I'll listen.
First, you'll make your statement that everything you printed about me was a lie.
I've offered to print a retraction for what appeared in my newspaper. Your lawyer wouldn't hear of it.
And after you've done that, I'm going to buy the epitaph from you for $1 cash.
Thanks. I think I'll take my chance in open court.
Well, I tried, Mr. Jameson. Let him try to pay off a $100,000 judgment.
There's one other matter, Mr. Gurney. I found a body this morning.
Oh, really? Where?
Floating in the San Pedro River.
Well, perhaps then you should be doing what you usually do under these circumstances.
I want to show you something. Harris, would you? You know, I always thought that there was an underground stream just below that shaft. A stream running straight into the San Pedro. Thanks, Harris. Still wet.
Whose is it?
Belonged to an old printer on the epitaph. And there are 50 men in town will swear that Fred Ellis never went anywhere without it.
So he fell in the San Pedro and was drowned.
Fell in? No, I don't think so, Mr. Gurney. And I can prove it by comparing some bullets. Jameson, give me your gun.
My gun?
You're the kind that follows orders and gets charged with murder.
Gurney, what are we going to do?
He's going to go to trial, just like you will.
Harris, give me a knife.
dynamite on you just like you and Jameson did to seal in the old man's body. It's a 20-second fuse. Throw your gun out first if you're coming. Maybe you'd like to die like you let your miners die in a cave-in. I'm coming out! Put it out! Put it out!
Put it out yourself. It's just a fuse. But it's gonna blow a confession out of you.
Jameson killed him. I didn't do it.
Jameson did what you told him to. He wasn't smart enough to plant that article in the epitaph. Oh, by the way, the man that you and Jameson murdered's still in the mine.
But the body in the river.
There was a body. And in a way, you killed him, too. We couldn't find Carl Vogel after that cave-in last week, you remember?
When they pass those mine safety regulations, I'll send you a copy of the epitaph announcing it.
Don't trouble yourself.
Well, it's no trouble. I've got a wide distribution, even as far as Yuma Prison.
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be, 'cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
Here's Kyle Dodge, gang leader and killer. The other, a United States Marshal, the man responsible for escorting Kyle Dodge through Tombstone to the territorial prison at Yuma. This is the way they arrived.
$0.25 for breakfast and a nickel tip. Prices are going up and up.
There's no telling where they'll stop.
Well, there's one thing certain. If they go much higher, I'll have to ask the city council for a raise. Take it easy, Marshal.
I hope you have a nice, strong jail, Sheriff. I was ambushed a couple of miles back.
Get Doc Cunningham.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened, in the town too tough to die. Tombstone territory. Sheriff Hollister had sent for the Tombstone physician, Doc Cunningham, to aid the dying marshal and his wounded prisoner, Kyle Dodge. Clay, this is Dr. Buell. Doc Cunningham was out on a call.
Dr. Buell. Haven't seen him in town before.
Well, he's just in town for a few days. I was lucky to get him.
Maybe. Maybe not. Where'd you find him?
He came up and introduced himself. Said he heard you needed a doctor. What's eating you? You're meaner than a stepped-on rattler.
I'll tell you later.
No, there's nothing I can do about him. He's dead. I'll take a look at Dodge now. You be good enough to show the way, Sheriff?
Tell me, Doctor, how did you know that I had a wounded prisoner?
Why, that's common gossip. It's all over town.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The patient, Sheriff.
I suppose you have proof that you are a physician.
Why, Now, wait a minute, Clay. That's going a little far, don't you think?
Well, Dr. Buell?
Well, I've never been asked to identify myself before, but as long as you insist.
The doctor volunteered his services, Clay.
All right. I'll be watching you closely.
Nice of you to drop by. I was getting lonesome.
Open that shirt. I want to get a look at that shoulder.
Sure, Doc.
How's the marshal?
Your friends did a good job.
Always said being a lawman was a dangerous profession.
Yeah. Especially when you have to worry about being shot in the back from ambush.
It's just a flesh wound. You'll live.
For a long time, I hope. There's a nice big cell waiting for you up at Yuma Penitentiary.
Talking's one thing. Getting me there's another.
You'll get there.
That's just your opinion. I got some friends who think differently. The marshal found out the hard way.
Well, your friends don't seem to have been much help so far.
I got a bad break, that's all. If it hadn't been for an accident, I'd have gotten away during the ambush.
What do you mean, an accident?
When the marshal was bushwhacked, Dodge here went for his gun. And in the struggle, Dodge got himself shot. Just a minute, Doc. Take your hand out of the bag real easy. Now move up here. This part of your medical equipment?
A man's got a right to carry a gun, hasn't he, Sheriff?
Yeah. But in your case, it's a little unusual. It's your profession to heal, not hurt.
I'm traveling across dangerous country. Even a doctor's got the right to defend himself. I'll take that back now.
Sure. Just send me your bill. I'll make sure you get paid.
Thank you. And I'll include the price of 6 bullets with my statement. Good day, gentlemen.
Little jumpy, aren't you, Hostler? Make sure you lock it up good. Your bird might get out and fly away.
I made arrangements for the marshal.
Thanks. I guess you're wondering about the way I treated Buell.
Well, I wouldn't exactly call your attitude normal.
While you're out looking for a doc, the marshal was able to tell me a few facts about Kyle Dodge.
Well, he's a tough customer, and that's a fact.
And he's got a lot of friends out of the same mold. Dodge and his gang have been raiding the small towns in the eastern part of the state. The only one they could capture was Dodge himself.
Well, then how many of that gang do you suppose are in Tombstone now?
Your guess is as good as mine.
And you think Dr. Buell could be one of them?
Could be.
Dodge seemed pretty confident. Suppose he's counting on those men getting him out?
According to the marshal, Dodge is the only one who knows where all the money from the raids is stashed. They've got to try to free him.
Yep. They tried it once. They'll make the attempt again.
And my deputy's out of town.
Well, I need some help. Anything I can do.
All right. I gotta go out for a while. You keep an eye on things here. Oh, and lock this door. I want to keep all the friends I've got.
Sheriff Clay Hollister moved quickly to arrange for Kyle Dodge's safe delivery to the Yuma prison. His plan would take time, but he was determined that Dodge would not escape the law again.
Yeah, it's just a flesh wound, nothing serious. Well, if it isn't Tombstone's esteemed sheriff. You've come to quiet your nerves with a drink?
I think you could prescribe a better remedy. These gentlemen friends of yours?
Acquaintances, Mr. Boland, Mr. Andrews, Sheriff Hollister.
Howdy, Sheriff. Glad to meet you.
Planning on staying in town long?
Hard to say. Depends on how long it takes to get our business done. Might take a week, might take a day. Hard to tell.
What is your business, Mr. Boland?
Cattle. Got a ranch down on the New Mexico line.
Oh, well, that's Kyle Dodge's hunting ground, isn't it?
It was until they caught him. Dodge never bothered us none, though. Here you got him locked up here in Tombstone.
You know, for a couple of fellas that just arrived in town, you're well supplied with information.
I've been telling him about Dodge. Sheriff's a very suspicious man.
Can't say that I blame him.
Say, Sheriff, what are you going to do about Dodge? You going to take him back to Yuma prison yourself?
No, I just sent this off a couple of minutes ago.
Oh. Yuma prison. Request you send officer to take custody of prisoner Kyle Dodge. Will hold until marshal arrives. Signed, Sheriff Clay Hollister, Tombstone Territory. Yeah.
You should have a man here in a couple of days.
A couple of days could be a long time. Anything could happen.
I'll be extra careful.
The sheriff looks like a man that can handle himself.
Yeah. Dead Marshal looked like a man that could handle himself. Didn't help him any.
Dodge is going to prison. Nothing is going to prevent him getting there.
Set him up.
November 7, 1882. Kyle Dodge was still safely locked up in the Tombstone jail. His next step, the penitentiary at Yuma. Yet the notorious prisoner appeared to be unconcerned.
Looks good enough to eat, but you got something. Where's the knife and fork? I can't cut anything with this.
I know.
What's the matter, Hollister? Don't you trust me? I never did like to eat alone. Why don't you hang around?
What for?
I thought we could talk a little. What kind of salary do you make, Hollister?
Enough.
$78 a month and you furnish your own horse. Big deal.
Are you worried about my future?
I hate to see a man miss a good opportunity.
Good opportunity?
How would you like to make $5,000, Hollister?
It's a lot of money.
Man could work all his life and never save that much.
Maybe.
I got plenty of money. All you have to do is let me out of here. $5,000. What do you say, Hollister?
You're wasting your time.
All you ever get out of this town is a bullet and a cheap funeral in Boot Hill.
Eat your food. It's getting cold.
As Clay Hollister made his final check of the town, he was doubly alert. He felt certain that Dodge's gang would attempt to release him. They had tried it before, and a U.S. Marshal was dead.
Sheriff Hollister?
Something I can do for you, ma'am?
I'd like to talk to you for a moment, Sheriff.
Come right in. Yes, ma'am?
I want to see Kyle Dodge, please.
I'm sorry. The prisoner isn't allowed any visitors.
Not even his wife? We were married a little over a year ago in Tucson.
I didn't even know he had a wife.
We kept it a secret.
Even to the extent of not wearing a wedding ring?
You don't wear a wedding ring when you don't want people to know you're married.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't mean to doubt your word, but you're going to have to show me some proof that you are married to Dodge.
Oh, would a wedding picture help?
It might.
This proof enough for you?
I guess so.
Put your guns on the desk. Don't do anything we'll both be sorry about, Sheriff. Now, you better take me to see Kyle Dodge. After you. All right, open it.
I told you I wouldn't be here long, Hollister. Better do like the lady says.
Not this time, boy. We better go back into my office and discuss this a little further.
I feel like such an awful fool.
Anytime you're ready, start talking.
My name is Lydia Dawson.
How'd you meet Kyle Dodge?
Up until a few moments ago, I'd never seen him before.
I'm supposed to believe that?
It's the truth. Dodge and his gang raided Colton City 4 months ago. My father ran the bank. They killed him.
Go on.
There's nothing more to say. Except I wanted to pay Dodge back.
You weren't trying to set him free?
No, I wanted to kill him.
In the meantime, you better stay in town.
I'm staying at the hotel. Could I have my gun back, please?
For the time being, it might be better for both of us if I keep it.
Dawson?
Good morning, Sheriff.
How long have you known Dr. Buell?
For quite a while. He's from my hometown.
Oh?
Why?
Just curious.
Could I have my gun back now?
I'm sorry, Miss Dawson. I haven't heard from Colton City yet.
You will, Sheriff.
November 11, 1882. A lone rider on the trail outside of Tombstone. The man who rode in answer to Clay Hollister's telegram.
Sheriff Hollister?
That's right.
U.S. Deputy Marshal Kennedy.
Oh, good to meet you. Come on in. You didn't waste any time getting here.
Well, the quicker we get Dodge to Yuma, the better.
This is Harris Clyburn, the editor of the Epitaph.
Hello, Marshal.
How do you do?
You got any credentials on you?
Oh.
Thanks.
I thought sure the marshal's office would send more than one man.
Good enough. Yeah, there are a lot of strangers in town. No telling how many of them are members of Dodge gang.
Well, Dodge is going to Yuma on the stagecoach. All we got to worry about is getting him aboard. I can handle it from there.
When do you want to go?
There's a coach leaving for Yuma in 20 minutes. I can make it.
I'll get him.
Need some help?
No, thanks. All right. Let's go, Dodge.
Where are we going, Hollister?
Out of one jail into another one. I'll turn him over to you at the stagecoach.
Sure.
You'll never make it, Hollister. Two of you won't be enough.
Or maybe three of us will shorten the odds some.
Keep your eyes open. Like you've got some company to see you off. Harris, cover Buell and the girl. You can take him now. All right.
Get him!
Well, Dodge, looks like you're not going to be lonely in prison. Your friend here can keep you company.
How did you know Kennedy wasn't a marshal?
I showed Bolin and Andrews a fake telegram saying I'd asked for help. I didn't send it.
So Kennedy had to be working with Dodge.
Uh-huh.
What about those credentials he showed you?
Forged. See, before he died, Marshall warned me to be careful who I trusted. He said that Dodge's men would stop at nothing to set him free.
Turned out to be good advice.
Yeah. Wish you were alive so I could thank him. You can have this back now, Miss Dawson.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Well, it's good to see you in a pleasant mood for a change, Sheriff.
Yeah, I sort of like the feeling myself.
I was just apologizing to the doctor and Miss Dawson for thinking they could be part of Dodge's gang.
Oh, yeah, I guess I should say a few words in that direction, too.
That isn't necessary, Sheriff. We understand now. I'm grateful it all came out the way it did.
I do have one question, though, Doctor. Just before the shooting started, I saw you open your medical bag. What were you reaching for?
Well, I know this sounds ridiculous, but I was reaching for a sedative. Miss Dawson had a headache.
I thought it might be a gun. I saw you drinking with Bolin and Andrews. Did you know them before?
I took a slug out of Andrews about 2 years ago in Abilene. I didn't know they were outlaws.
Suspicion can make a man do strange things.
It goes along with a lawman's job. I guess I should try to curb it, though. Uh-oh. What's he doing in Tombstone?
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be. 'Cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, to Tombstone territory.
Town to bed.
How you doing, Rusty?
Good evening, Sheriff. Or is it morning?
Straight up. Take your pick.
Well, it's good morning.
How's business?
Mighty quiet tonight.
Huh? That's just the way I like it. Quiet.
Sorry, mister, but I'm closing.
But I want to play. You heard me.
Yeah, I heard you. How many chips do you want?
No chips, just one hand, $100.
It's your money.
Yeah, that's right.
What goes?
Like you said earlier, it's my money.
But you lost.
No. You dealt from the bottom of the deck.
Listen, mister, I've been dealing here in Tombstone for 2 years, and nobody, never accused me.
Maybe you're dealing your own tombstone right now.
threw a bottle at me, mister. Bottle's a lethal weapon. Let go. Sorry, Sheriff. You caught me by surprise.
You're awful eager to shoot an unarmed man.
Unarmed? He tried to kill me.
I know Rusty better than that. He might have tried to defend himself, but kill you? No.
Well, maybe I was a little hasty. But you know how it is, Sheriff. A fellow just gets into town, people try to take advantage of him. And I've learned there's not much law in these frontier towns. Man has to shoot first and ask questions later.
Not in Tombstone, Mr.
Sanders. Vince Sanders.
Well, Mr. Sanders, you better take a tight rein on that temper of yours. We don't like loose gunplay.
What about my money?
How about it, Rusty?
He bet $100 and lost, claim I dealt off the bottom.
You got the wrong man, mister. Rusty doesn't bottom deal. Now, why don't you just take your original bet and go home to bed? It's all right with Rusty.
Sure. I was ready to go to bed an hour ago.
I thought you said it was a quiet night.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened. In the town too tough to die. Tombstone Territory. June 4, 1882. The stage from Denver arrived in Tombstone ahead of schedule.
Oh, hello, Harris. Say, I thought you were going to meet the stage today. Isn't Bert McGraw due in?
Yeah, I thought you might want to come along. Stage is due any minute.
Well, that's a good idea. I can stop by Hatch's on the way back, get a bite to eat.
What's wrong?
Nothing. Nothing at all. As a matter of fact, things are improving around here. Well, Bert, welcome home.
Hi, fellas. We were just going to meet you. You two are the first to know. Gentlemen, this is Jeannie, otherwise known as Mrs. Bert McGraw. Jeannie, Sheriff Hollister, Mr. Clyburn of the Epitaph.
How do you do, gentlemen?
Well, congratulations. When did all this happen?
Day before we left Denver.
I'm afraid you're going to have to forgive the editor's staring, ma'am. It's just we don't have such pretty newcomers around here often.
Congratulations, Bert. You're a lucky man.
I think Harris is afraid he's just lost his best chess opponent.
We'll still have our chess games.
I hope you enjoy living in Tombstone, Miss McGraw.
Oh, I'm sure I will, Sheriff.
We'll do our best to see that you do.
Thank you.
Come on, Bert. Help you with the bags.
Jeannie McGraw had arrived in Tombstone on the noon stage from Denver, unknown. Nobody knew at the time that she was someone the town would never forget.
Yeah, how about that? Never thought old Bert McGraw would get himself roped in a double harness.
Yeah.
Well, you don't sound too happy about it. Matter of fact, I'd say you're acting downright grumpy.
Hey, I know this sounds ridiculous, but I have a notion I've seen that woman before somewhere.
Oh, you've been to Denver.
I don't know where, or when, or under what circumstances. But it bothers me.
Well, you know, there's something bothers me, too. The way she was staring at that Vince Sanders across the street.
Vince Sanders?
Yeah.
Oh, the fellow came into town yesterday.
Yeah, and an hour after he rode in, he started a big free-for-all down at the Oriental. Accused one of the dealers of cheating.
You think she knows him?
I don't know. Probably not.
Where are you going?
Look for some real trouble instead of dreaming it up.
Allow me, ma'am.
Leave me alone.
You don't really mean that, do you?
Sanders!
Leave the lady alone like she told you.
Just as you say, Sheriff. This time.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Oh, Miss McGraw, you know that man?
Well, I'd rather not discuss it. Excuse me.
Now, this little gal I was talking about from Denver. She loved me. Wanted to marry me. But she decided she'd marry someone with lots of money. So she did. Oh, it won't last. This fella she married is old. She'll get tired of him. She's mine! She always was. Evening, McGraw. I thought the happy bridegroom would have lots better things to do than hang around saloons.
I heard you were talking like that. All over town.
Ain't you never heard of freedom of speech, McGraw?
You keep that foul mouth shut, or I'll shut it for you. For good, you hear that?
Maybe you'd really like to make something of it.
You can't talk about my wife like that or bluff me either. Now, I'm warning you.
McGraw, you ain't never gonna get out that door alive.
Put it away, Sanders.
You've been pushing me, Hollister.
Go home, Bert.
But look,
I said go home. I know what you've been doing, Sanders. That's why I'm here. You leave the McGraws alone or I'll throw you out of town.
Sure, Hollister. Anything you say.
You wanted to see me?
Hello, Clay. Yeah. I heard about that run-in between Vince Sanders and Bert McGraw.
Oh.
And then I remembered where I'd seen Jeannie McGraw before.
Where?
Here, see what you think.
A Santa Fe paper dated 6 months ago?
Look at the picture there on the front page.
Oh, yeah. Woman widowed for the second time in 2 years. This article doesn't come right out and say it, but it practically accuses her of legalized murder.
Twice she married an older, well-to-do man from some small western town. Both times the husband was killed by a stranger in what was called a fair fight. What more do you need?
Well, even though this picture does look like McGraw's bride, I can't act officially until I know for sure.
Well, you better do that fast. If this woman is Jeannie and Vince Sanders is her partner, Bert McGraw is living in the shadow of Boot Hill.
All right. You wire the Santa Fe paper for more detailed information. I'll go talk to McGraw.
Sheriff Hollister.
Ma'am.
Nice of you to come by. Sit down. Let me get you something.
Oh, no, thanks. I want to talk to Bert.
Well, he's not here.
Well, could you tell me where he is?
He's on the other side of the hill, dynamiting stumps for grazing land.
Thank you.
Well, Sheriff, what do you want to talk to him about? Maybe I could help.
Yeah, maybe you could. Did you hear about what happened last night in town?
You mean men brawling? I hear you have a lot of that in Tombstone, Sheriff.
Mrs. McGraw, you know Vince Sanders, don't you?
I've already discussed that with my husband.
One more thing, Miss McGraw.
I have chores, Sheriff.
Mrs. McGraw, were you ever married before?
Morning, Bert. Morning, Clay.
You better be careful. That's pretty dangerous stuff you're working with.
Take forever to dig this stump out. This stuff does it in a few minutes.
Say, Bert, you've known me long enough to know that I'm not a busybody.
So?
So your wife practically admitted to me that she knows this Vince Sanders. She said she discussed it with you.
That's right. She's got nothing to hide. Sanders is in love with her. Followed her here to Tombstone. Won't leave her alone. And I'm warning you, Clay. If he bothers her again, if he even goes near Jeannie, I'll kill him.
Oh, no, Bert. That's just what Sanders wants. That'll give him an excuse to kill you and claim self-defense. You wouldn't have a chance against a professional gunslinger like him.
Now, listen, Clay. What is it? Somebody tried to shoot at me.
Not you, the dynamite. He got away.
Vince Sanders, Clay?
That's my guess.
And he's out to get me now. Any way he can. So he can have Jeannie.
Yeah.
An attempt had been made on Bert McGraw's life, one calculated to kill Clay Hollister at the same time, if it had been successful. The sheriff of Tombstone had an idea as to the identity of the killer, but he didn't have proof.
Harris, you got any answers?
Harris! What happened?
Oh, hello, Clay.
Were you all right?
Oh, sure. Perfectly all right. Considering somebody tried to bash my skull in.
Who did it?
I guess it was our friend Vince Sanders. I came in, found a wire from Santa Fe pushed under the door. I bent over to pick it up, and wham! I never even got a chance to read it.
Well, don't worry about the wire. I don't think we'll need it.
Why not?
Because Sanders has practically proven that we're right. I'm almost sure that he tried to kill McGraw and me.
Where? When?
I'll tell you later. Right now, I want to get Sanders. He's got a lot of questions to answer.
Not without me. I've acquired a personal interest in Mr. Vince Sanders. Vince Sanders was a step ahead of us. The hotel clerk said he had checked out several hours before, claiming he was leaving town.
Well, I doubt if he'd cleared out for good or he wouldn't have worried about that wire.
Where do you suppose he's gone?
Take direct action against his target, Bert McGraw. Let's go.
Hey, old-timer. McGraw home? No, he's out at the line camp shack on Stony Hills. You just missed him, Sheriff.
How about Mrs. McGraw? She here?
She's out there, too. She rode out first. Left a message for Mr. McGraw that she was riding out to say goodbye to a friend that's leaving the territory.
Vince, he'll kill Bert and nobody to witness it but Jeannie.
And she'll testify it was a fair fight.
Yeah, let's go.
No sign of him. He must have been farther ahead of us than I thought.
Still about 5 miles to that shack.
Uh-huh. We'll take that dry riverbed. We can cut off a mile that way. Come on.
Looks like he got you a message. Now he's gonna get mine.
Vince, don't you mess with him. You shoot him as soon as he comes in that door.
Don't you worry about me. You just stand right here so he thinks you're alone.
Bert,
Where is he?
where's who?
You know who. How long ago did he leave?
He didn't.
You understand us. Fight for her.
Harris, cover me just in case.
I wouldn't dirty my hands.
Well, stop stalling and shoot him.
I just want to see him suffer a little bit.
Bert? I'm sorry, Bert.
Sorry he's dead, you mean?
No. No, I'm not. Please don't look at me like that. You can forgive me. You've got to forgive me. I'll make up for it some way. Please, Bert, please. Bert, come back! All right, then, go on. I don't need you. But remember that I'm still your wife. And half of everything you own is legally mine. Your land and your money, that's all I ever wanted anyway.
You don't even have that anymore.
What do you mean?
This wire I just got from the Santa Fe press. They just completed an investigation on you and your friend here. It seems that you were originally married to Sanders, and you never divorced him. So you were never legally married to Bert or to any of the others. You know, you're getting to be a pretty good newspaper man, Harris. What's so interesting out there?
Bert McGraw.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he'd be snapping out of it by now.
You need something to jar him out of it.
What hit you?
Hey, you, we got a new ordinance in town. No wool gathering in the middle of the day. Hello, Clay. Oh, say, you hear about the new chess champion?
Chess champion?
Yeah, of Tombstone. He claims it's official, even proclaiming it in the newspaper.
Who?
Harris. He says there are no challengers. Well, none worth their salt, anyway.
Why, I know what you're doing, Clay. I'll get around to playing chess.
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be, 'cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me